Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because they're a bunch of war hawks. Okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Don't you just love it when a politician gets called out to her face for being for the things that she claims that she is against, okay? When you get in Congress for a few years and you start to realize like, I really don't want to push back against the establishment as much as I campaigned on. I'm just gonna go along to get along. And I hope that my constituents, who I promised I would be anti-establishment, I would be opposed to the liberal agenda, the establishment agenda, I'm just gonna hope they don't notice, right? And that is kind of what AOC has been doing, okay? As she's been more concerned about being a celebrity than actually doing the things that her constituents put her in Congress to do. Now, again, I don't agree with AOC and her policies and her agenda that she wants to push, but I will say that it is right for her constituents to criticize her when she does not work hard enough to do the things that they voted her in office to do, regardless of whether or not I agree with those things. But one thing I will say that I agree with AOC's constituents on is the anti-war stance, okay? And that is something that the progressive left and the populist right have in common, being anti-war, okay? We're tired of sending our American citizens overseas to lose their lives for big corporate America and the military or industrial complex, okay? We're sick and tired of that. And it seems like when it comes to this war in Ukraine, we're inching closer to what Joe Biden called a nuclear Armageddon, right? That is what he warned about just a few days ago. That has really raised some eyebrows, especially considering how he spent money on a drug that's supposed to combat poisoning from nuclear waste. Okay, right as he's saying these comments, that report came out. Again, make what you want out of that, but I'm just saying, it seems like the Biden administration, Democrat Party, the establishment, they are itching closer to potentially engaging in a nuclear conflict with Russia over Ukraine, something that the American people don't want to see, because we all know what that means. So with that being said, AOC's constituents are standing up to her and calling her out for supporting the Biden administration's funding of the war in Ukraine. And I'm telling you guys, this is absolutely glorious. Take a look.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because they're a bunch of war hawks. Okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that. Then let's take it up right now, because this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We could be in a nuclear war at any minute, and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on. Why not right now? You're the liar here. Nobody has held you accountable. That's what's happening. And it is time for you to stand up and realize that what you've been saying has been lies. Let your conscience come through for once.
Yeah, so I know a lot of you guys are new to my channel. So a lot of you guys probably don't know my stance on Ukraine because I don't really talk about the war in Ukraine that much. But I support Ukraine in the sense that I hope they don't get taken over by Russia. That's obviously a bad thing for the US. That's a bad thing for NATO. But I don't think that that's going to happen, okay? I think that Russia is going to grab a few pro-Russian territories in eastern Ukraine, and then eventually they're going to pull out. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to reach nuclear Armageddon. I think that Biden is playing that up as a way to support more funding to Ukraine. I mean, at this point, we have funded Zelensky in Ukraine so much that Zelensky should be a dependent on my tax returns, right? I am seriously thinking about putting Vladimir Zelensky as a dependent on my returns because that country has become dependent on the United States, okay? They have become a welfare beneficiary of the United States, and I think a lot of people have issues with that, okay? We're sending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars to another country when we're suffering here in America. This is just another example of America Last, not only just coming from the Democrat establishment, but also coming from the Republican Party as well, too. However, the squad has been particularly silent on this because they're supposed to be the anti-war left, okay? They're supposed to be anti-establishment. That is why they were voted into Congress, okay? That is why their constituents sent them there to fight against this type of pro-war policies that have been pushed by the establishment, Democrats and Republicans. That's what they're there for. However, they have been silent and in lockstep when it comes to voting for these Ukrainian spending bills that are supporting this war and, again, arguably moving us closer to nuclear Armageddon. While you have some people on the right, the squad's equivalent of the right, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has consistently voted against this Ukrainian funding, okay? So, again, you have things that are happening here in politics that are extremely interesting, and I think that this town hall that's being hosted by AOC is one of those things that we're saying in which there are issues that the left and the right can come together on and agree with and say, look, we don't want any more war, okay? We wish the best for Ukraine, right? I don't want Ukraine to get taken over. I don't want Russia to become more powerful. I'm anti-Russia, right? I don't like Putin, okay? But at the same time, hey, there's only so much we can do, right? There's only so much that we can do. But see, the question is, what has happened to the supposed anti-war left? Why have they been so acquiescent to the Democrat Party and the establishment with the Ukrainian war? Well, the answer is simple, right? When people like AOC see Putin, they see Trump. Okay, so all of the money that is being sent to Ukraine, they're basically anti-Trump funds, right? Anti-Trump fascism funds, right? That's the way they see it, okay? Every Russian tanker destroyed by a U.S.-provided Javelin is a smack to Tucker Carlson's face, okay? That is what a lot of this has become about. I mean, Nancy Pelosi came out here and claimed that Ukraine is fighting for the, quote, survival of democracy in the West. Like, come on. Anybody with any basic knowledge of Ukraine's democracy knows that that's cap, right? That ain't nothing but cap and propaganda. Again, she's trying to equate it. She's trying to relate it to the so-called anti-democratic or the war on democracy from the Trump wing of the Republican Party here in the United States. They're trying to make it the same thing. They're trying to say, look, supporting Ukraine is the same thing as being anti-Trump, right? That's the way they have kind of marketed this. Again, you have not seen so many Democrats so rank and file pro-war since 9/11. You haven't seen anything like this. Again, how does that happen? Well, because we already know that the neocon establishment Republican Party is definitely pro-war. They're always pro-war, right? Like the Lindsey Grahams of the world. There's never been a war that this guy's seen that he doesn't want to fight, okay? Even though he doesn't have any sons for various reasons, right? Allegedly, you know, he doesn't necessarily like women. Okay, he likes getting his cheeks clapped, but he doesn't have a son to send off to war. But he wants to send your son off to go fight a war every chance that he gets. But again, the reason why is because of money. Okay, now when it comes to Democrats, it's because of money and it's because of sticking it to the other side, right? We're sticking it to the fascists, okay, the Trumpsters, the Putins, okay. We're sticking it to people on the other side of our political ideology, or that we see as the other side of our political ideology. But the irony here is that the people that we're supporting in Ukraine, at least some of them, allegedly have a far right, ultra far right ideology that we claim that we're against here in America, right? Again, that's the irony here. This is where we've gotten to in politics. And people like AOC and the squad have abandoned their so-called principles in favor of going along with the establishment because, hey, you know, you got to stick it to the other side. You don't want to be seen as pro-Trump and pro-Putin, right? You don't want to be seen as that. So you got to vote for this bill. If you don't vote for this bill, you're siding with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay, and Matt Gaetz and Rand Paul. You don't want to side with them. You want to side with the pro-Trump right, okay? Even though there are some things that you guys agree on, there's more things that we agree on than we think. But no. You got to stick it to them, right? You can never be seen as agreeing on something. And this is how we get here, guys. This is how the establishment always wins, okay? This is how they always win. But if you guys notice, this is a town hall that AOC was doing in the Bronx. And she almost had nobody there, right? No real supporters there. This goes to show you guys that AOC support locally is weighing. It is dying, right? This isn't the first time I've done a video about angry AOC supporters, people who actually live in her district that are saying, look, AOC is not concerned about us anymore. She's now become a celebrity. She's a part of the establishment. And that is the exact opposite reason for why they voted her into Congress. At this point, she has become a national politician. She is literally just surviving based off raising funds from a national level, not necessarily based off support from her local constituency. I think AOC's political career is coming closer to an end than we think, right? I really do believe that if AOC continues to go down this route, she will get voted out. I really do. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.